Let us see about theories of mineralization of calculus in this video. In the previous part of the dental calculus, we saw about the components and constitution of dental calculus and how it attaches to the tooth surface and what is the difference between supragingival and subgingival calculus. In this video, we will see about theories of mineralization of calculus first and the etiological significance of calculus. So to begin with, the theories can be either grouped into two types of major groups. Either it is by mineral precipitation or by seeding agents. This is theories of mineralization of calculus. So how does it happen in mineral precipitation concept? There is a local rise in the degree of calcium and phosphate ions. How does this local rise in degree of calcium and phosphate ions happens? They are giving three possible reasons. There is increase of pH of saliva. How does this happen? Before that, this increase in pH of saliva, what does this cause? It causes precipitation of calcium phosphate by lowering the precipitation constant. Since the pH has risen, there is precipitation of calcium phosphate. First, how does this pH rise occurs? Either by loss of carbon dioxide and formation of ammonia by plaque bacteria or by protein degradation. So these two reasons lead to increase in pH of saliva, which in turn causes precipitation of calcium phosphate by lowering the precipitation constant. Therefore, the first theory, mineral precipitation theory, first reason they are suggesting for the mineral precipitation is rise in pH of saliva. What is the second reason they are suggesting for mineral precipitation? Colloidal proteins in saliva bind calcium and phosphate ions. This is the second theory they are suggesting. This maintains a supersaturated solution. Let me tell you a simple concept of what is saturation. Imagine a pot of water full of H2O water. You are adding salt into it. You can add salt and dissolve how much ever you want. At one point there will be a point, that is you have added maximum salt in the liquid, that is in the water. So after that point, how if you add more, there won't be dissolving of salt in the water. No, the salt which you add again, which does not dissolve, so that state is called as supersaturated. Okay, till the point where maximum salt you have added is known as saturation, and if you add more salt beyond the point of dissolving, it is known as supersaturated solution. This supersaturated solution, if you keep on stirring, it won't settle, but once you stop stirring and the water has settled, at that point the remaining salt will crystallize. It will also attract the salt from the solution and crystallize. So supersaturated solution, once it settles down, will form mineral precipitation. That is what they are telling here. Hope you understand the concept of saturation and supersaturation. If you have any doubt, please ask again in the comment section. So colloidal proteins in the saliva bind calcium and phosphate ions and maintain a supersaturated solution. This supersaturated solution, if stagnation happens, stagnation of saliva will definitely happen in your mouth, and it will lead to the precipitation of these ions. This is the second theory what they are proposing under mineral precipitation. Third theory is dental plaque release phosphatase. Phosphatase, ACE means an enzyme. The enzyme which degrades phosphate is known as phosphatase. So it precipitates calcium and phosphate by hydrolyzing the phosphates which is present in saliva. So plaque releases phosphatase which degrades phosphates in saliva, leading to precipitation of calcium and phosphates. So let us see the second concept, that is we saw three basic theories in mineral precipitation concept. The second concept of mineralization is seeding agent concept. They are telling that seeding agent is, again I'll tell you in a simple word. Imagine the supersaturated solution I said, right? If you throw in a small salt crystal, it will act as a seeding agent. That seeding agent will attract more minerals and it will increase in size. So they are similarly telling here what acts as seeding agent in calculus we have to see now. This theory is also known as epitactic concept or heterogeneous nucleation. They may ask in viva. Small foci of calcification which enlarges and coagulates to form a calcified mass is the basic of this concept. So what acts as seeding agent? The matrix of plaque plays a role here. It removes calcium from saliva by chelation, and that calcium acts as a seeding agent, on top of which calcium and phosphates from saliva settles down and the size of calculus increases. So this is what seeding agent is about. Now, does bacteria and plaque have any role in calculus formation? Yes, it has certain role. Let us see the three types of role bacteria plays. Usually, if there is two bacteria, the mineralization occurs between them. That is, extracellular mineralization happens. But certain bacteria, especially filamentous rod type of bacteria, they show intracellular calcification. That is, Veillonella, Bacterionema, and diphtheroids. The calcification starts intracellularly, which gradually spreads throughout the bacteria, and at one stage, the whole bacteria is engulfed by calcification. So this also plays a role in calculus, which means calculus also contains whole bacteria which is calcified. And as we saw, the bacterial plaque produces phosphatases, which plays a role in mineral precipitation we saw earlier, right? So these three roles are played by bacteria in calculus formation. So the next point, does calculus cause periodontal disease? The clear cut answer is it does not contribute directly, but calculus is a fixed nidus. Nidus is a niche, it is a place for continued accumulation of plaque. As long as calculus is there, it is an irregular surface on which plaque will form, and this plaque will cause periodontal disease. So calculus is indirectly contributing to periodontal disease. Therefore, removal of subgingival plaque and calculus is the cornerstone of periodontal therapy, which we all dentists aim at. So remember the role of calculus in periodontal disease formation. Hope you understood this video. If you have any doubts regarding dental calculus, you can please ask in the comment section. I'll be glad to explain in another video if needed. Thank you.